The massive ship floated in empty space, its dark metal hull covered in strange symbols. Inside the ship, Admiral Cresivore stood before a large screen that showed the stars. His blue skin had thick scales, and his yellow eyes glowed in the dim light. He was the leader of the Zephyrian fleet, the strongest military force in this part of the galaxy. A smaller alien rushed into the room. This one had gray skin and 4 arms. "Admiral, we have received a message from the Galactic Council." Cresivore turned around slowly. The Galactic Council was old, very old. They had been watching the galaxy for thousands of years. Most species respected them, but Cresivore thought they were weak. What do they want now? The message played on the screen. An ancient being appeared, with wrinkled purple skin and wise eyes that seemed to hold the knowledge of ages. This was Elder Vextar, one of the most respected members of the council. "Admiral Cresivore of the Zephyrian Empire," the elder began, his voice deep and serious. "We know you plan to attack the 3rd planet of the Yellow Star System, the planet these beings call Earth. We must warn you about the species that lives there." Cresivore laughed, a harsh sound that echoed in the room. "Warn me? About what? Some primitive mammals?" But Elder Vextar continued speaking. "These humans are different from other species you have conquered. They have survived many disasters that should have killed them all. Ice ages, asteroid impacts, supervolcanoes. Each time they found a way to live. They adapt faster than any species we have ever seen." The Admiral's yellow eyes narrowed. "All species adapt, old one. That means nothing." "There is more," the elder said. "They fight each other constantly, yet they also work together when threatened from outside. They have something called wars, but they also have something called cooperation. This makes them very dangerous." Cresivore waved a clawed hand in the air. "Bah, we have conquered 47 star systems. These humans will be number 48. Elder Vextar's ancient face looked sad. "Admiral, please listen. These humans make tools and weapons unlike anything we have seen. They take peaceful things and turn them into weapons. They turn weapons into better weapons. When they are threatened, they become something else entirely." "What are you saying, old creature?" Cresivore asked, getting angry. "I am saying that these humans are persistence hunters. Do you know what that means? It means they never give up. Ever. They will chase their prey until it dies from exhaustion. They will fight until their last breath. And they will remember every defeat, learning from it to become stronger." The Admiral turned away from the screen. "Your warnings mean nothing to me. We are the Zephyrian Empire. We have ships, weapons, and the strength of 12 different species. What can one planet of soft mammals do against us?" Elder Vextar spoke one last time before the message ended. "Admiral, we have given you this warning because we have seen what happens when someone underestimates humanity. Please, approach them with respect. Offer them trade and friendship. Do not make them your enemy." The screen went dark. Cresivore stood in silence for a moment, then laughed again. "Foolish old creatures. They have grown weak watching the stars for so long." Meanwhile, far away near a yellow star, Captain Jake Morrison floated in his ship called the UES Endeavor. He was a human with brown hair and calm blue eyes. He had been a soldier for many years and now commanded one of Earth's space exploration ships. Captain called Dr. Lisa Bennett from her station. She was a scientist who studied alien life, though they had never found any before. She had red hair and green eyes that were always curious about new things. "I'm seeing some strange energy readings at the edge of our solar system." Jake moved over to look at her screen. "What kind of energy?" "I don't know," Lisa said, frowning. "It's not natural. Someone or something is making it. It's moving toward us." Commander Ryan Parker, a tall man with black hair, joined them at the console. He was responsible for keeping Earth safe from threats. "Could it be another country's secret project?" Lisa shook her head. "No, this is coming from outside our solar system, way outside." Jake felt his heart beat faster. For years, humans had wondered if they were alone in the universe. It looked like they were about to find out. Get me Admiral Kate Sullivan on the communication channel. Admiral Sullivan appeared on their screen a few minutes later. She was a strong woman with gray hair and sharp eyes who commanded Earth's defense forces. What do you have for me, Captain? Admiral, we think we might have visitors coming. Known. Energy signatures heading toward Earth. Sullivan's face became serious. How long until they arrive? Based on their speed, maybe 3 days, Lisa answered. Understood. I'm putting all Earth forces on high alert. Captain Morrison, I want you to monitor these signals and report everything you see. Back in space, Admiral Cresivore prepared his fleet. 50 warships, each one bigger than anything humans had ever built. He was confident this would be easy. The Galactic Council's warning had been forgotten. Prepare the standard conquest message, he told his crew. We will offer these humans one chance to surrender. When they refuse, we will destroy their military and take their planet. His second-in-command, a creature with tentacles instead of arms, asked, What if they actually surrender, Admiral? Cresivore's eyes glowed brighter. They won't. Primitive species never do. They always think they can fight us. It makes conquering them more fun. The Zephyrian fleet moved through space toward the small blue planet. Admiral Cresivore had no idea that his decision to ignore the Council's warning would change the galaxy forever. He thought he was going to conquer another weak species. Instead, he was about to wake up something that had been sleeping peacefully among the stars, something that had spent millions of years learning how to survive, how to fight, and how to win against impossible odds. The humans were about to show the galaxy why the Galactic Council had tried to warn everyone about them. The Zephyrian fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. Admiral Cresivore looked at the small blue planet on his main screen and smiled. It looked so peaceful, so defenseless. Send the surrender message, he ordered. The message was broadcast toward Earth. Primitive species of the third planet, you are now subjects of the Zephyrian Empire. Surrender immediately or face destruction. On Earth, Admiral Kate Sullivan received the message in her command center deep underground. Around her, dozens of humans worked at computers and communication stations. She read the alien message twice, then looked up at the big screen showing their solar system. So much for peaceful first contact, she said quietly. Then louder, send our response. Her message went out to the alien fleet. This is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the Solar Defense Force. You are in human space. State your peaceful intentions, or leave immediately. Admiral Cresivore laughed when he heard the human response. They want us to leave? These soft creatures think they can order us around? He turned to his weapons officer. Target their moon. Destroy the colony there. That will show them what happens when they refuse to surrender. But Colonel Steve Martinez was ready for them on Luna Colony. He was a tough soldier with dark hair and scars on his face from many battles on Earth. For years he had been preparing Luna's defenses, even though most people thought he was wasting time. Sir, enemy ships are approaching, reported his aide, a young woman named Lieutenant Amy Foster. She was a pilot who had volunteered to help defend the colony. Steve looked at the approaching alien ships through his binoculars. They were huge, much bigger than anything humans had ever built, but he had spent years turning Luna Colony into a fortress using mining equipment and cargo ships. Remember the plan? He told his defenders. We're not trying to win. We're trying to make them pay for every inch. The Zephyrian ships opened fire on Luna Colony. Their energy weapons lit up the dark side of the moon with bright explosions. But instead of easy destruction, they met heavy resistance. Steve had hidden weapons everywhere. Old mining lasers had been turned into cannons. Cargo ships had been filled with explosives and set to fly into enemy ships. Even the colony's construction robots had been given weapons. Lieutenant Foster jumped into her small fighter ship. It used to carry supplies between Earth and Luna, but now it carried missiles. This is Foster taking off. Let's show these aliens what humans can do. She flew her tiny ship straight at the massive alien warships. The Zephyrians couldn't believe what they were seeing. This small craft was attacking their entire fleet by itself. Amy dodged between the huge alien ships, firing missiles at their Weak points. She had studied their design during their approach and found places where their armor was thinner. Other human pilots followed her lead, turning cargo ships and mining vessels into fighters. On the UES Discovery, Dr. Lisa Bennett worked frantically to understand the alien technology. Captain Jake Morrison had brought her pieces of destroyed alien equipment that had fallen onto Luna's surface. Their weapons work on specific frequencies, she told engineer Danny Clark over the radio. Danny was a genius with machines who could fix or build almost anything. Can we block those frequencies? Danny asked. Maybe, give me 30 minutes. Danny looked at his watch. The battle had been going on for 2 hours. Luna Colony was still fighting, but barely. You have 15 minutes, Doc. That's all the time we have. Meanwhile, Admiral Cresivore was getting angry. His fleet was supposed to destroy the human colony in minutes, but the battle was still going. Worse, he had already lost 6 ships to these primitive creatures. How are they doing this? He shouted at his crew. Their ships are made of metal scraps. His second-in-command checked the battle reports. Sir, they're using tactics we've never seen before. Instead of fighting ship to ship, they attack in groups, then disappear. They hide behind asteroids and attack when we're not looking. This is impossible, Cresivore said. We are the Zephyrian Empire. Back on Luna, Colonel Martinez knew they couldn't hold out much longer. Half his weapons were destroyed and most of his ships were gone. But they had done something amazing. They had hurt the aliens badly. All remaining defenders. This is Martinez, he said over the radio. We've made them bleed. We've shown them that humans don't give up. Now it's time for the final phase. Lieutenant Foster's ship was badly damaged, but she still flew. What's the final phase, Colonel? We're going to ram the largest ship with everything we have left. If we're going down, we're taking as many of them with us as possible. Dr. Bennett's voice came over the radio just then. Wait, Danny and I have something. We've figured out how to jam their weapons for a few minutes. Do it, Martinez ordered. Suddenly, the alien weapons stopped working. For 5 minutes, the massive Zephyrian ships floated helplessly while their crews tried to fix their systems. The remaining human defenders used those 5 minutes well. Amy Foster led the last cargo ships in suicide attacks against the alien fleet. Each ship was packed with explosives and flew straight into the enemy vessels. When the alien weapons came back online, Luna Colony was finally destroyed. But Admiral Cresivore looked at his fleet and felt something he had never felt before. Fear. He had started the battle with 50 ships. Now he only had 35. 15 of his warships had been destroyed by mining equipment and cargo vessels flown by creatures he thought were primitive. On Earth, Admiral Sullivan watched the battle's end on her screens. Luna Colony was gone, but its defenders had sent a message to the entire galaxy. Humans would fight. Humans would make their enemies pay. Send a message to every human military base, every factory, every city, she ordered. Total war. These aliens want to fight? We'll give them one they'll never forget. News of the Battle of Luna spread quickly through human space. The aliens had won, but they had paid a terrible price. More importantly, they had seen what humans could do when cornered. Dr. Bennett and Engineer Clark worked around the clock, studying every piece of alien technology they could find. Their ships are faster than ours, Bennett reported to Admiral Sullivan. But they're not smarter. They think in straight lines, we think in circles. What do you mean? Sullivan asked. They attack the same way every time. They line up their ships and fire. But humans fight differently. We adapt. We change. We use whatever we have. Captain Morrison brought his ship, the UES Endeavour, back to Earth with more alien technology. Admiral, these creatures have never fought anyone like us before. They expect their enemies to fight with honor, to follow rules. Sullivan smiled grimly. Well, they picked the wrong species if they wanted a fair fight. Humans don't fight fair. We fight to win. The Zephyrian fleet pulled back to regroup, but Admiral Cresivore was already receiving angry messages from his superiors. How had he lost 15 ships to a single colony of primitives? For the first time in his career, Cresivore began to wonder if the Galactic Council's warning had been right. These humans were different from other species. They didn't surrender when they should. They didn't die when they were supposed to. But it was too late to back down now. The Zephyrian Empire had committed to this war. They would have to see it through to the end, no matter what the cost. Neither side knew it yet, but the Battle of Luna was just the beginning. The real war was about to start. News of the human victories traveled across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. In the ancient halls of the Galactic Council, Elder Vextar watched the reports with growing concern. "The Zephyrians have awakened something terrible," he said to his fellow council members. "We warned them about humanity, but they would not listen." Another council member, a being made of crystal and light, spoke in musical tones. "Should we intervene, Elder Vextar?" "No," the old being replied sadly. "It is too late for that. The humans are no longer defending, they are hunting." Far from the council chambers, Captain Jake Morrison led the first human expedition beyond their solar system. His ship, the UES, Defiance, was bigger and more powerful than the old Endeavor. It carried weapons that could destroy alien cruisers with a single shot. "Target acquired," reported his weapons officer, Lieutenant Sam Rodriguez. "Zephyrian mining facility on the asteroid ahead." Jake studied the alien base through his scope. It was huge, probably providing metals and rare materials for their war fleet. "Any sign of civilian workers?" Dr. Lisa Bennett, now serving as his science officer, scanned the facility. "Negative, Captain. Only military personnel and automated systems." "Then we proceed as planned. All ships begin the attack." The human strike force hit the alien mining base like a hammer. Within minutes, the facility was destroyed and its defenders eliminated. But this wasn't random destruction. This was strategy. "Dr. Bennett, catalog everything," Jake ordered. "I want to know what they were mining and how much we just cost them." Back on Earth, General Marcus Thompson was planning something unprecedented. Operation Pack Hunt. It would be the largest coordinated attack in human history, targeting 12 Zephyrian systems simultaneously. "The beauty of this plan," he explained to his staff, "is that it plays to our strengths. Humans have always been pack hunters. We work together to bring down enemies much larger than ourselves." Admiral Kate Sullivan commanded the operation from her flagship, the UES Retribution. Around her, dozens of screens showed human fleets moving toward their targets across a vast area of space. "All fleet commanders, this is Sullivan," she broadcast across the quantum communication network. "Operation Pack Hunt begins in 30 minutes. Remember, we strike hard, we strike fast, and we all go home." Colonel Steve Martinez had survived the fall of Luna Colony and now led humanity's Special Operations Forces. His teams were small groups of elite soldiers who specialized in infiltration and sabotage. "Target is the command center," he whispered to his squad as they approached a Zephyrian space station. They wore new stealth suits that made them nearly invisible to alien sensors. His team moved through the station like ghosts, placing explosive charges on critical systems. The aliens never knew they were there until it was too late. "Charges set," Martinez reported. "Departing in 30 seconds. The explosion tore through the station's command center, leaving the entire Zephyrian defense grid blind and helpless. Amy Foster now commanded an entire fleet of converted civilian ships. Her vessels still looked like cargo haulers and mining equipment, but they packed enough firepower to destroy heavy cruisers. "This is Foster to all ships," she said as her fleet approached a Zephyrian supply depot. "Remember, we're not here to look impressive. We're here to hurt them so badly they never want to fight us again." Her attack was swift and merciless. The aliens had expected to face military vessels, not a fleet of armed cargo ships that fought like pirates. The aliens tried to respond to the human attacks, but they faced a problem they had never encountered before. The humans were everywhere at once, hitting targets across dozens of star systems simultaneously. Admiral Cresivore stood in his command center, watching reports of destruction pour in from across Zephyrian space. "How many targets are they hitting?" 12. "Major systems, sir. Mining facilities, supply depots, communication stations, and patrol bases. They're destroying our entire supply network." Cresivore felt something cold in his stomach. These humans weren't just fighting a war. They were dismantling the Zephyrian Empire piece by piece. Engineer Danny Clark had become humanity's top weapons designer. His latest creation was a new type, of missile that could think for itself, adapting to enemy defenses in real time. The aliens keep changing their shield frequencies, he explained to Dr. Bennett. So I built missiles that change too. They learn from each other during flight. Dr. Bennett watched the test results with amazement. Danny, these missiles are getting smarter every time they're used. That's the idea, Doc. Human weapons that think like humans. The breakthrough came when Bennett discovered something remarkable about human psychology. General Thompson, I think I know why we're winning this war. Go ahead, Doctor. It's not just our technology or our tactics. It's how we think. When most species face a stronger enemy, they try to match that enemy's strength. But humans do something different. We find weaknesses and exploit them. Thompson nodded slowly. We don't fight stronger enemies. We make them weaker. Captain Morrison's deep space raids had become legendary among both human and alien forces. His ship could appear anywhere in Zephyrian space, destroy critical targets, and vanish before reinforcements arrived. Sir, his navigator Bobby Chen reported, we're detecting a large alien convoy heading toward their home system. Looks like they're evacuating non-combat personnel. Morrison smiled grimly. They're starting to realize they can't win this war. Signal the fleet. We're going to send them a message. The attack on the convoy was perfectly executed. The human ships appeared from multiple directions, destroyed the military escorts, and then let the civilian ships continue their journey unharmed. It was a message that echoed across the galaxy. Humans could destroy their enemies completely, but they chose to show mercy to non-combatants. This wasn't just military superiority. This was moral superiority. Admiral Sullivan received reports from all 12 target systems within hours. General, Operation Pack Hunt was a complete success. We've destroyed 60% of their industrial capacity and eliminated their forward supply bases. Casualties? Thompson asked. Minimal, sir. We lost 8 ships total. The aliens lost over 200. The Zephyrian High Command was in chaos. Species that had joined their empire willingly were now questioning whether they wanted to continue fighting humanity. Perhaps, suggested one of Cressivor's allied commanders, we should reconsider this war. Cressivor's eyes blazed with anger. Are you suggesting we surrender to these primitives? I'm suggesting that maybe the Galactic Council was right about them. But the Admiral's pride wouldn't let him back down. Send a message to all our allied species. Tell them we need reinforcements immediately. If we bring enough ships, we can overwhelm the humans with sheer numbers. What Admiral Cressivore didn't understand was that humans had been preparing for exactly this scenario. Every factory on Earth was now producing weapons. Every spaceship yard was building warships. Every human citizen was part of the war effort. Dr. Bennett's latest research had revealed the final piece of the puzzle. General, I've figured out why the Galactic Council warned the aliens about us. What did you find? We're the only species in the galaxy that treats war as a science. Other species fight for honor or territory or resources, but humans fight to completely eliminate threats. We don't just win wars. We make sure our enemies can never threaten us again. As the human fleets regrouped for the next phase of the war, alien survivors from the attacks sent desperate reports back to their leaders. The messages all said the same thing. The humans weren't just fighting a war anymore. They were hunting down everyone who had threatened their home, and they would not stop until every threat was eliminated completely. After Luna Colony fell, something changed in humanity. The news of the alien attack spread across Earth in hours. Every television, every radio, every computer showed the same images. Human defenders fighting impossible odds against giant alien warships. General Marcus Thompson stood in the Pentagon's war room, surrounded by maps and computer screens. He was a big man with gray hair who had fought in many wars on Earth. But this was different. This was about the survival of the entire human race. Ladies and gentlemen, he said to the room full of military leaders, we are now at war with an alien empire. They think we're weak because we're new to space. They're about to learn they made a big mistake. President Helen Rodriguez appeared on the main screen from the White House. She was a strong woman who had led America through difficult times before. "General Thompson, you have unlimited resources. Every factory, every worker, every piece of metal on Earth is now part of our war effort." The transformation began immediately. Car factories stopped making cars and started making spaceship parts. Computer companies began building targeting systems for weapons. Even toy companies started making components for human warships. Dr. Lisa Bennett worked day and night in her laboratory, taking apart alien technology. She had teams of scientists helping her now, the smartest people from every country on Earth. Their metal is stronger than ours, she explained to engineer Danny Clark, but we're learning how to make it. Their computers are faster, but we understand how they work now. Danny looked at the alien weapon parts spread across the table. "Doc, we're not just copying their stuff. We're making it better." Captain Jake Morrison had a new job now. Instead of exploring space, he was leading attack missions against alien supply ships. His vessel, the UES Endeavor, had been upgraded with new weapons and armor based on captured alien technology. "Target spotted," called his navigator, Lieutenant Bobby Chen. "It's a big cargo ship probably carrying supplies to their fleet." Jake studied the alien vessel through his binoculars. It was 3 times bigger than his ship, but it looked like it only had a few weapons. "All right, people. Let's show them what happens when they come into our neighborhood." The human attack was swift and brutal. The UES Endeavor came out of the asteroid field like a hunting wolf, firing missiles at the alien cargo ship's engines. The aliens never had a chance to fight back. Meanwhile, Amy Foster had survived the Battle of Luna and was now leading a group of converted civilian ships. Her fleet was made up of old cargo vessels, mining ships, and even some luxury space yachts that rich people had donated to the war effort. "Remember," she told her pilots over the radio, "we're not trying to look pretty. We're trying to hurt them and get away alive." Her ships looked like junk, but they were deadly. Each one had been fitted with the best weapons humanity could build. They hid in asteroid fields and attacked alien patrols, then disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. The aliens started calling them ghost ships because they seemed to appear from nowhere, attack, and vanish. Admiral Cresivore was getting more worried every day. His supply ships were being destroyed. His patrol fleets were being attacked by enemies they couldn't catch. Worst of all, the humans were learning from every battle. "Sir," reported his intelligence officer, "the humans are building new ships faster than we can destroy them." Cresivore stared at the reports in disbelief. "That's impossible. It takes years to build a warship." "Not for humans, sir. They're using mass production techniques we've never seen. They have entire planets working together to build their fleet." Back on Earth, the industrial transformation was amazing. Danny Clark had designed new factories that could build a spaceship in weeks instead of years. They used robot workers that never got tired and worked 24 hours a day. Dr. Bennett made another breakthrough when she figured out why humans were better at space combat than other species. "It's how our brains work," she explained to General Thompson. "Most aliens think in terms of honor and tradition. They fight the same way their ancestors did. But humans think about survival. We change our tactics based on what works." Captain Morrison had become one of humanity's most successful ship commanders. His raids deep into alien territory were legendary among human forces. "The key," he told new pilots, "is to never do what they expect. If they think you'll run, attack. If they think you'll attack, disappear." Admiral Kate Sullivan was building the largest military fleet in human history. Ships poured out of Earth's factories and space stations every day. But these weren't copies of alien designs. They were purely human creations, built for human tactics. "Our ships are smaller and faster," she explained to her fleet commanders. "We can't match their heavy armor, so we won't try. Instead, we'll be everywhere at once. We'll hit them from directions they don't expect." The first major human victory came at the Battle of Titan, near Saturn. Admiral Sullivan had laid a trap for the alien fleet using Saturn's rings as cover. "All ships, this is Sullivan," she broadcast to her fleet. "Remember, we're not trying to fight fair, we're trying to win." When the Zephyrian fleet arrived at Titan, they found what looked like a small human defensive force. Admiral Cresivore, smiled when he saw it. Finally, the humans were going to fight a proper battle. But as his ships moved closer, human vessels suddenly appeared from behind Saturn's moons. More ships rose up from the planet's rings where they had been hiding. In seconds, the aliens found themselves surrounded. The battle was over in 30 minutes. The humans used coordinated attacks that hit the alien fleet from every direction at once. Cresivor lost 20 ships and barely escaped with the rest of his fleet. How did they coordinate so many ships across such a large area? He asked his tactical officer. We don't know, sir. Their communication systems are more advanced than we thought. What the aliens didn't understand was that humans had always been good at working together when threatened. The same species that had built cities, fought world wars, and sent people to the moon, was now applying those skills to space combat. Dr. Bennett's research teams had developed quantum communication systems that let human commanders coordinate attacks across entire star systems instantly. Engineer Clark had built ships that could change their configurations during battle, adapting to whatever the aliens threw at them. But the most important human advantage was something the aliens couldn't copy: the refusal to give up. Every time the aliens thought they had won, the humans came back stronger. After the Battle of Titan, General Thompson received reports from all over human space. Sir, our forces have destroyed 60 alien ships this week. We've lost 12. What about their reinforcements? Thompson asked. Intelligence reports that they're calling for help from their allied species. It looks like they're finally taking us seriously. Thompson smiled. Good. Let them bring their friends. We'll show the whole galaxy what happens when you threaten humanity. The war was changing. What had started as an alien invasion was becoming a human offensive. The Zephyrian Empire was learning that humans didn't just defend their homes. When threatened, they hunted down their enemies and destroyed them completely. Admiral Cresivor sent a desperate message to his homeworld. Request immediate reinforcements. The humans are not what we expected. They fight like nothing we have ever encountered. But by then it was already too late. Humanity had awakened, and they were coming for everyone who had threatened their home. 2 years after the first alien ship appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system, Admiral Kate Sullivan stood on the bridge of her flagship as it approached the Zephyrian homeworld. Behind her stretched the largest human fleet ever assembled, over 3,000 ships from massive battleships to small fighters. Admiral, reported her communications officer, we're receiving a transmission from the planet. They're requesting a meeting to discuss surrender terms. Sullivan looked at the blue-green world on her main screen. It looked peaceful from space, just like Earth had when the aliens first arrived. Tell them we'll meet at the neutral station, but make it clear that this is unconditional surrender, not negotiation. Admiral Cresivor sat across from Admiral Sullivan in the meeting room of the neutral space station. The proud alien leader who had once commanded 50 warships now looked old and defeated. His yellow eyes no longer glowed with confidence. Your terms? He asked quietly. Sullivan placed a document on the table. Complete surrender of all Zephyrian military forces, immediate liberation of all conquered worlds, dismantling of your war fleet, and war crimes trials for those responsible for unprovoked attacks on civilian targets. Dr. Lisa Bennett sat beside Sullivan, studying the alien commander with scientific interest. The same being who had dismissed humanity as primitive now couldn't meet her eyes. General Marcus Thompson joined them via video link from Earth. Admiral Cresivor, you started this war because you thought we were weak. You ignored the warnings of those wiser than you. Now you face the consequences. Before Cresivor could respond, an ancient figure entered the room. Elder Vextar of the Galactic Council moved slowly but with dignity. His purple skin seemed even more wrinkled than before, and his eyes held deep sadness. Elder, Sullivan said respectfully, standing up. Admiral Sullivan, Vextar replied, I have come to witness the end of this unfortunate conflict. The elder looked at Cresivor with disappointment. Admiral, we warned you about humanity. We told you they were dangerous. We begged you to approach them with respect and caution. Cresivor finally spoke. You said they were adaptable. You didn't say they were unstoppable, did we not? Vexitar asked sadly. What did you think persistence hunters meant? What did you think we meant when we said they never give up? Captain Jake Morrison appeared on another screen, broadcasting from the Zephyrian outer system, where he commanded the human patrol fleet. Admiral, we've liberated the Corian homeworld. The people there are celebrating their freedom from Zephyrian rule. This was happening across former Zephyrian space. Species that had been conquered decades ago were being freed by human forces. Many of them had already asked to join the growing alliance with Earth. Amy Foster's fleet had become something unique in galactic history, a civilian force that was more effective than most military organizations. Her converted cargo ships had liberated 6 star systems and destroyed over 100 enemy vessels. Admiral Sullivan, she reported from her flagship, the freed mollusk colonies want to contribute ships to our fleet. They say humans are the first species to fight for others' freedom without asking for anything in return. Engineer Danny Clark had revolutionized warfare with his adaptive technologies. Human ships could now reconfigure themselves during battle, changing from exploration vessels to fighters to transport ships as needed. The aliens still don't understand how we do it, he told Dr. Bennett during one of their research sessions. They think in terms of fixed roles: warship, cargo ship, mining ship, but human ships can be whatever they need to be. Colonel Steve Martinez had led successful special operations on 50 different worlds. His teams had rescued thousands of prisoners and freed entire populations from Zephyrian control. The thing is, he told his soldiers, we're not just winning battles. We're showing the galaxy what humans stand for: freedom, justice, protection of the innocent. Elder Vextar turned to Admiral Sullivan. The Galactic Council formally recognizes the end of Zephyrian aggression and invites humanity to join our organization as a full member. Sullivan considered the offer carefully. We're honored, Elder Vextar, but we need to be clear about something. We're not joining to follow other people's rules. We're joining to help make better rules. The ancient being smiled for the first time in years. That, Admiral Sullivan, is exactly why we need you. The galaxy has become stagnant. We need a species that thinks differently, that challenges old assumptions. Dr. Bennett stood up to address the room. In our studies of galactic history, we've learned that most species become peaceful after they develop space travel. They stop competing, stop innovating, stop growing. But humans are different. How so? Asked Elder Vextar. We compete with ourselves. Even in peace, we constantly try to improve, to build better things, to solve harder problems. We turn competition into cooperation and cooperation into strength. General Thompson's image leaned forward on the screen. The Zephyrians made the mistake of thinking that because we were new to space, we were primitive. They didn't understand that being new means we haven't learned to accept limitations yet. Captain Morrison reported another successful liberation. The Centauri colonies are free, Admiral. They're asking if they can send representatives to Earth to discuss alliance terms. Admiral Cresivore looked around the room at the humans who had defeated his empire. I don't understand how you did it. We had superior numbers, superior technology, superior experience. Admiral Sullivan answered him simply. You had superior everything except the will to win. When you attacked Luna Colony, you expected us to surrender after taking casualties. But humans don't surrender. We adapt. When we started losing ships, added Dr. Bennett, you expected us to negotiate. But humans don't negotiate with aggressors. We eliminate threats. When we began our counterattacks, said Captain Morrison, you expected us to fight for territory. But humans don't fight for land. We fight for principles. Engineer Clark's voice came over the communication system from Earth. And when you brought in reinforcements, you expected us to be overwhelmed. But humans don't get overwhelmed, we get motivated. Elder Vexitar walked to the large window that showed the stars beyond. Admiral Cresivore, your species and your allies spent centuries conquering weaker civilizations. You developed a system based on strength dominating weakness. He turned back to face the room. But then you encountered humanity, a species that turns weakness into strength, that becomes more dangerous when threatened, that treats every defeat as a lesson for future victory. Amy Foster's transmission showed freed alien civilians celebrating in the streets of their cities. Admiral, the liberated worlds are organizing themselves into a new alliance. They want to call it the Free Worlds Coalition, with Earth as the founding member. The meeting concluded with Admiral Cresivore signing the surrender documents. The Zephyrian Empire was officially dissolved. Its military was disbanded. Its conquered worlds were free. But more importantly, the galaxy had learned a lesson about humanity. Elder Vexstar, Admiral Sullivan said as they prepared to leave. Why? Did the Council warn the Zephyrians about us? Did you know this would happen? The ancient being looked at her with eyes that had seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Admiral, we have been watching the galaxy for thousands of years. We have seen species that were strong, species that were smart, species that were advanced. He paused, choosing his words carefully. But we had never seen a species that combined all of those traits with something else. The absolute refusal to accept defeat. Most species surrender when the cost becomes too high. Humans raise the cost until their enemies surrender. As the human fleets began their journey home, carrying freed prisoners and representatives from liberated worlds, the galaxy started to change. The Galactic Council gained new energy as human ideas and innovations spread to other species. Dr. Bennett's research facilities became centers of learning for scientists from across the galaxy. Engineer Clark's adaptive technologies revolutionized manufacturing and transportation. Colonel Martinez's tactical innovations changed how civilized species thought about defense. But perhaps most importantly, humanity had shown the galaxy that strength didn't have to mean domination. The most powerful military force in galactic history had used its strength to free the oppressed, not conquer the weak. Elder Vextar sent a final message to the Galactic Council. The galaxy has a new apex predator. But unlike the Zephyrians, these predators hunt only those who threaten the innocent. The Council was right to warn about humanity. We should have warned everyone else to be better. As Admiral Sullivan's flagship approached Earth, she looked at the blue world that had given birth to the galaxy's newest great power. Humanity had passed its first test among the stars. They had proven that being human meant more than just being strong. It meant being willing to fight for others, to sacrifice for principles, and to never stop growing. The warning had been given. The Zephyrians had ignored it. Now the galaxy would never make that mistake again.